Hello everyone, very good morning. My name is Mithilesh Singh and you are watching my YouTube channel CloudX India. So guys, in today's topic I'll talk about IAM, AWS IAM. Okay. And one more thing guys, I just want to give update in my channel. I'll upload all AWS related topics, right? So from there you can learn everything, right? So you need not to go and join any institute, right? So stay tuned guys, and we'll see all the topics, learn it, enjoy it, and share with your friend. Also comment if you feel to learn any other things as well, like active directory on premises and VMware, right? So also I'm planning to upload Azure and OCI cloud videos as well. Okay, so let's talk what is in today's topic. So the agenda of the day is what is identity and access management, IAM users, groups, roles, policy, and providers. So, guys, since it has the multiple topics, so I may not cover all in today's video. I'll upload the another video for you. Okay, but my focus is to manage identity and access management, users, and group. Okay, because I just do not want to finish this video as soon as possible because I just want to give the scenario and then explain, create the problems, then solve it with your like better understanding, for your better understanding. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing is, what is AWS identity and access management? Okay, so before going to understand what is AWS identity and access management, I have a question for you. So what is the question? The question is very simple. Suppose you have a system, you have a Windows server. Okay, and in this server, this is your Windows server. Okay, in this server you have some drive as well. Okay, D drive, E drive, and you also install the application here. Okay, app. There is a user come to you. Okay, suppose this user come to you and say, hey, this user reported that I am not able to log in here. Suppose username is Mike. User said, I am not able to log in on the system. I just want to access the C drive, TE, or whatever inside the application, this Windows server, right? So how this user will log in into the system? If you want to log in any system, suppose as you log in your system, as you want to access your email ID, right? So what do you have to provide first? So first of all, you have to provide the credential. The first question, when you connect to your administrator, admin ask, I'm actually talking about the standalone system, right? Don't compare with the Active Directory. So administrator asks, do you have the access on the system? You said, I don't know because I am not able to log in here, right? So what administrator say, let me verify whether you have your account, your user is created here or not into this local system. If your user is not created here, then you cannot log in into the system because the credential is important to access any resources, whether it is your email ID, whether it is your system, whether it is your laptop. Okay, whatever your application are accessing or your, okay, so that needs the credential. So what administrator will do, administrator log in into the system. Okay, access users and group management console and create your user account, and then also share a password to you. So what happened, administrator will create user account and create a password for you and share with you. Once you have user account and password, then you can take the RDP or directly log into the system to providing this credential, and whatever access you have provided, based on that you can access your C drive, T drive, E drive, and also manage the application. Means to access any resources, any server, you need your user account. Your user account should be created onto the local system. Okay. Without user, you cannot log in into the system. So that is the one of the scenario, right? So if you do not have user account, you cannot log in. Okay. And in the same way, if I go back to my the main topic, what is IAM? Okay, so what is IAM? Suppose, okay, let's define the IAM. So IAM is a web service of AWS, which is used for account and access management. Means in the same way, suppose you have a system, you want to log in, but you do not have credential here, so you cannot log in. Admin created, and then you can log in and access. In the same way, suppose you are managing one AWS account. Okay, you are the administrator, and this is your AWS account. Okay, in the AWS account, you have created EC2, S3 bucket, RDS. There are multiple services available. Okay, and as a user, you also want to log in here. Okay, you also want to log in here and manage these resources. But when you are trying to hit and log in, you failed. You are not able to get into the system, into the AWS console. Why? You come to the administrator, you report it. I'm not able to log in into the AWS console. Administrator said, what's your name? You said, my name is Bob. So first of all, what administrator say? Administrator, let me check whether your account is created here or not. So what administrator will do? Administrator go into the AWS and verify whether your account is created or not. So how administrator will verify? Into the Windows Server 2000, any server, it use the users and group management. But in AWS, how, what kinds of services your administrator will use to verify whether your account is created or not? So it uses the identity and access management. So identity and access management is similar to your user and group management console, which help your administrator to create user account, manage the policy, manage the permissions, right? So what it will do, your administrator will go into the console, verify your credential is there or not, and it create the credential here into the IAM, identity and access management console, and share the credential to you. Once it share the credential, and you can get into the account. Based on the access, you can, based on the privilege, you can access the S3, EC2, S3, and RDS, or whatever the services and permission you have provided. So guys, I hope you understand what is the IAM. So once again, IAM is a web service which is used for account and access management. Okay, so any administrator will use it to create and manage the user account and privilege. So before going to the next session, we'll see how it looks like. Okay, and guys, one more thing I'll just want to tell you. So I'm not going to cover very straightforward what is user, what is group, what is this, and what is that. So I have the problem statement as I shown here. Okay, and then I'll explain about what exactly is this service. Okay, and then I'll show how you can access it, so that as a fresher, as a beginner, you can understand all the steps, all the basically process of AWS IAM. Okay, so let's see how can access the IAM and how it looks like. So what you have to do, you have to click on services and click on the IAM, open it. So here we are into the IAM console. So into the IAM, you can see identity and access management console panel. This is the dashboard. In the dashboard, you can see IAM resources. IAM resources, okay. How many users are there? Zero. How many groups are there? Zero. Customer managed policies, 14. Total roles, 25. Identity providers, zero. Okay. So this is the sorry guys. So this is the dashboard. And then Under the dashboard, there are two other things: access management. Into the access management, you can see the groups, users, roles, policies, identity providers, account settings. And in your access report, you can see the other thing, access analyzer. I'll talk about this thing as well, but let's uh, talk only about users group and roles in today's topic. Okay. Okay. So this is the account identity and access management console. Now move on the next part. How do I get started with IAM? So IAM is a basically service of AWS, and you want to access any services. So first of all, you need AWS account. So first of all, the question for you: do you have AWS account? If not, please get one new AWS account. Okay. Or if you already have, then access how I access it. Okay. If you do not have, please subscribe and get it. What problems does IAM solve? Okay, what problem does IAM solve? So problem is very simple. There was a user, suppose take an example. So the same user trying to access IAM account, but this user does not have what? Accounts created here. So it cannot access. So what? It solved the credential problem, like access problem. And you can see I have noted a definition here. So IAM life easy. Make life easy how? Suppose there is multiple users, okay? Or as an administrator, there is no user. Suppose as an administrator, there are multiple AWS account and there are multiple resources. As a single admin, can you manage everything in your environment? Definitely one day, 2 day, it's have you have excitement. Okay. You are very excited. You can do it, but not for a long time. You need a person who can support you, who can distribute your workload. Okay. So to distribute your load, first of all, you have to create some user account and provide the access to some eligible person who aware of the AWS. Okay. So doing this basically it make your life easy. So you can create multiple account and distribute to all these users so that they can help and distribute your load. Okay. Second thing, help you to create multiple credential, as I said, allow you to control their access and management. Very good. So now you created two account. There are EC2 instances. There are S3 bucket. There is RDS and lots of services also available. What privilege you want to provide to which user? Suppose you want to give Mike EC2 access and this user S3 access and RDS access. So you can also control the permissions from IAM. Okay. The next, who can use IAM? Definitely user can use. Whosoever have the credential, they can use it. What can a user do? What can a user do? Again, a user can do whatever the privilege you have assigned to the user. And the guys, I think I need to repeat this one. Who can use IAM? Okay, so IAM, who can use the IAM? The root account can use the IAM by default. Okay. And what is the root account? Whatever the email ID you use to subscribe the AWS account, that is that email ID known as the root account, and that ID has the higher privilege. And AWS always recommend, even I also recommend, you do not use your root account for everything. Okay. For daily day-to-day task, use your create an account and give the privilege accordingly and use it. Root account you use if there is any criticality and you really need the root account to log in. Okay. So what can a user do? Definitely user can do based on the permission, whatever the permission you have assigned, user can do whatever the permission assigned. How do users call AWS services? That is very important. How do the users call AWS services? So I have created another chart for you. So suppose this is a user Mithilesh created into the IAM. This is IAM console. Okay. Okay. Now user Mithilesh is trying to access the services EC2 instance. Take an example. Okay. How this user or Mithilesh can access it? So first of all, user has to log in into the AWS account. And how user can log in into AWS account? There are two ways. Either user log in through the browser or through programmatic access. To log into the browser, he can use any browser, Chrome, Mozilla, right, Internet. And other one is programmatic access through the access and secret key. I'll talk about what it is. So once you trying to access it, so this is known as the request. You make a request. Okay. So the answering your question, how do user call AWS services? So there are two way, either through console or through program. Okay. And I am giving some more information actually about the process, authentication and authorization. Okay. That is not part of this, because this is actually covering only how user is accessing AWS services. So it is Chrome, okay, AWS console or programmatic access. But what happened if when user hit the credential? Okay, whenever user trying to access the AWS account. So first of all, user make a request, and when user make a request, AWS provide a login page. User pitch in the credential, like put the username and the provided password. And once it hit, the next thing is authentication. Once you provide the credential, so whatever credential you have provided, it will be validated. So where it will validate, once you hit, it reaches to the account IAM. IAM verify, okay. What is your username you have provided? Mithilesh. Okay. What is credential you have provided? You put the credential and that is the right credential. What happened? So once it verify, okay, your name is okay and credential is also okay. So once it authenticate, it let you inside the AWS account. And once you come into the AWS account, it verify your access. What privilege do you have? And this process is known as authorization. Okay. And guys, AWS manage all the permissions based on the policy. Okay. Whatever the policy is assigned to you, it will validate from here and give to you that this policy you have. Suppose you have the read EC2 read access permissions. So what happens? So based on this policy, you get the read access onto the AWS console and you try to access the EC2 instances. And once you go into the console EC2, you can see all the EC2 instances, but you're trying to restart some EC2 instances. So whenever you are trying to restart, what happened? Your policy conflict, your privilege conflict actually. You have read permission, but you are trying to restart. What happened? You will get a message. What? Access denied. Okay, means you are trying to do something against your policy and you will get this message. Okay, so this is the process, guys. So this is the principal or user account, you can say. And user make a request. Okay, it pitch in the credential whatever it is, this user was provided. And once it's pitch in the credential, then authentication happen. In authentication, basically is a process of verifying the credential, which IAM and AWS does it. And once your credential is okay, then it verify the access, whatever the access you have. That process known as the authorization. And then it allow, okay, you have the read access, and based on the authorization, you take the action, whatever the action you are taking. And if you are going against the rule like read, then what happen? You will get the deny error. So guys, I hope you enjoy this the part. Okay, so if you have any query, please comment. The next thing is, what kinds of security credential can IAM user have? So the security credential, when I say, so there are it can have any combination of credential, right? Like It can be secret key, access key. Okay, it can be X.509 certificate, SSH, password, MFA, anything it can have. Okay, so okay, before going in detail, so what I'm thinking, so let's create a user so that you can see what is the access and secret key. Okay, and what is the password, how to create the users, and how to provide programmatic and console access to the users. So let's go back to the console. Okay, so in the console, right, so as I said, multiple options available. Okay, so since I'm talking about the users, so let's click on the users first. In the users, once you reach to the users, there are two options, add and delete. So delete you cannot do definitely because there is no users. And then click on the add users. So once you click on the add users, you can create the user. Suppose you created a user Bob. Okay, and at a time you have options to create one or multiple users. Okay, so it's up to you, but I am going to create one user here. If you want to create multiple, you can create it. So I click, I assign the name Bob, and then select access type. Are you going to give access programmatic access? Means this, let me take other color, this access, or AWS management console, or this access. So whatever the access you are going to do, you can select. So if you are selecting programmatic access, what happens, this user can access from the command line only. Okay, so and in this case, user will be provided one access key and secret key. So the first thing, I'm going to use the programmatic access, and let's see the difference. So click on the next, and it's asking the permission. So do you want to apply any permission? If there is any group, you can add the user into the group. No, I don't have group. Copy existing permission. If there is any user available, you can copy the permission from that user. I don't have. And attach existing policy. So you can attach the policy from here, but I'm not going to attach any policy. I'm just going to create it. Next, review and create it. So guys, you can see the access is there is access and secret key created for this user. Okay, what you have to do, you have to download this access and secret key and provide to the users. Click on close, but this user cannot log in through the console. So let's try. Click here, not here. Okay, so you can see there is no login console available, means from the web browser. Okay, so but how can you differentiate it? So let me do one thing, let me create one more user. So I'll create another user, John, and this time I'll not select this one, I'll select AWS management console. And into the AWS management console, I'll generate automatic password. Okay, so there are two options, either you select the custom password or you select the automatic password. So uh, okay, so auto generated if you want. Okay, let me select the custom password. So I'm selecting the custom password. Okay, so click on next. Again, it's asking the permission. I'm not going to select that one. Click on next. Next. You haven't grant any permission. Create user and close it. So you have two types of user. One is which has the programmatic access. This user, okay, in the security credential you can see, and other one is the John in the security credential. Let's verify the difference. So let's talk about the Bob first, who has the programmatic access. In the summary, you can see user does not have console management access. It means this user cannot log in through the console. And John, console sign in link. Okay. And guys, by default, user does not have any privilege to access any resources by default. Okay, so let me show you that one. So what you have to do, you have to copy this one. This is a console login for user, and come fast, man. So the account number it will take here, and you have to put the John and click on what happened. Oh, seems I forgot the password. Okay. So if you forgot the password, what you can do, console password manage. You can generate it. I generate another password. Okay, what happened? So other options is auto generate. So you have options to auto generate the password as well. So you can copy this and open a notepad. So it's not tough actually. I'm not sure if I'm missing the password what I am assigning manually. So I'll use the custom password, auto generated password, sorry. So I logged in with the user John, and as I said, by default when you create any user does not have any permission. You can see there is no policy, or you can simply see user doesn't have any permission yet. Okay, to verify this one, let's go into the login into the user as logged in and click on EC2 to verify whether user can see anything here or not. So here, click on instance. Okay, you are not authorized to perform this operation, means you do not have access. So guys, I hope you understand. Definitely, yes. So what kinds of security credential can IAM user have? So as I said, user either have the login credential username password, or user can also have the access key and secret key. How can you verify this one? So go below and see. This is the user Bob actually who has the what access, programmatic access. Okay, so and this user does not have password, it has the access and secret key. Okay, so the next thing is, can I enable and disable user access? Definitely you can. How can you enable and disable? Suppose you do not want to let Bob log in through the programmatic, or you want to suspend the login. So what you can do, mark inactive for Bob, and you want to also inactive the John credential. What you can do, you can go here, manage, and disable console access. Okay, so you can simply do this one. The next one is, who is able to manage user for an AWS account? Definitely root or any user who has the privilege to manage the credential of IAM. You can create a user and you can give the permission as well. Okay, so next, can I define user regionally? Means any AWS services is available on the regional basis. If I go and click on easy to instance, there are few services which is global, but most of the services is regional. So if I click on EC2, you can see I came into the North Virginia, and from here I can rotate or switch any other account. Okay, but when you say the user account is global, user account is not regional. So to answer this, can I define user regionally? I can say no. It's very straightforward. Can I define a password policy for my user's password? Definitely yes. You can define the password policy, but how can you define the password policy for the user? Means password policy. Suppose you are thinking the password, whatever the password user is currently having, that is not complex. So you want the create a very complex password policy. So what you can do, go again into the IAM and select your account setting. Into the account setting, what you can do, you can, I have created a password policy for before, right? So but I just deleted that one. So go into the account setting and set password policy, click here, and you can see by default it has the 6 character length. Okay, any user, if you are going to create that, at least have the 6 character, and this is an enforced minimum password length. You cannot keep it less than this. Second, if you want the special characters, suppose alphabet like uppercase, lowercase, require at least one number. Any this non-alphanumeric value. Enable password expiration. How many days you want the password should be after this expire? So you can keep it 30 days as per the standard setup. Password require administrator reset. No, user can change the password. Password prevent password reuse, means user cannot repeat the password till 5 time or 10 time, whatever you want, and then you can save it. So this is what you password policy you can modify. Yes, so answer is yes, we can do that. What is group? Okay, so group is the collection of multiple user, and why to use the group, that is another question. So I'll give you one of the scenario to you so that you can understand better. So guys, suppose there is three section or three department of, okay, there is three user. This is new joinee. So will you assign any kinds of higher privilege to new joinee in your organization? Definitely no, because they don't aware of your environment. They may not aware of the AWS services. So what you want, you will give the read access. So as I said, user will get the access from the policy only. Okay, so I have created a policy, suppose here, and the policy name is read access. What I can do, I can apply this policy directly to this user and give the access to user 1, and based on this policy user can log in and read it. Okay, and then if suppose there is another user come in, user 2, you also want to provide the read access, you have to apply the policy again to this user. There is another user come, user 3, you have to again apply the policy individually on this user. Okay, and suppose after 10 days there are 5 more member come in into your organization, then what you have to do, you have to apply this policy again to all other 5 member as well. Okay, and if somebody leave from read and move to the operation support, so what you have to do, you have to again change the policy for them. Okay, so that is very hectic task. Okay, and if suppose there is a 3 member from operation support who has the full access, EC2 full access, so you have to again individually assign the permission to them. Means as an administrator, this is very painful task for you, and the whole day you have to do this only. And the honest feedback, if I say, definitely no one wants to manage the permission like this. In IT industry, as a standard setup, no one going to do this like providing access in this way. So what is the other way and easiest way is you can create a group. You can create a group, name it whatever the name you see, read admin, create another group, operation support, and senior admin. Okay, so whenever there is new member come in, what do you have to do, you have to join into the group. You have to join into the group, and whatever the policy, suppose you have give the EC2 read permission, take an example, EC2 read permission you have given. through this policy. So you apply this policy directly to this group. What happens? This policy will inherit to all the member of this group. Okay, and after 10 or 15 days, suppose your manager requested to give S3 permission and RDS read permission as well. So what you have to do, you have to not create other policy individually for them. You just modify this policy based on this privilege. And what happens, as soon as you modify this, enhanced feature also apply to this read admin group, and these users also get the same privilege whatever inside the policy is applied. Okay, and doing this is really very useful, right? You need not to go and modify and apply on multiple users. Simply you will do here and apply here, and it will be changed. In the same way, EC2 full admin, apply this policy directly group, join the users into the group. In the power user, suppose higher privilege you give to the senior administrator, and create the policy, apply onto the group directly, and this user become part of this and then access it. So how can we do this? So let's go into the console. So I have to do two things. So I'm just going to delete my password because this is very complex and I don't want to use the complex password. So I'm going to create another user. Okay, so I'll create another user is Mike. I give the password, a custom password. I do not want to change it. I am not going to assign any permission from here. Next, review, create. Now I'm going to log in with the mic. What I can do, I can copy this one link, go into the console, mic. Oh, no, what is happening today? Okay, so I logged in here. Okay, so if I go into the EC2, so as I shown before, so here you can see I'm not able to access it because I do not have permission. Right, you are not authorized. So I have two options. Either I directly attach a policy, go into the permission, okay, and add permission. I attach a policy. So there are two options. EC2 read. I click on EC2 read and review, add permission. Okay, and once I add the permission, refresh the Mike's console. User is Mike. I just refresh and let's see whether I am still seeing the. Oh, great. So now it's saying there is, you do not have any running instances in this region. Okay, right? So now the access problem is resolved, right? So one of the options is you can directly apply the policy to the existing user, or the other way you can create a group, click on create new group, assign a name, read admin. Okay, so read admin, click here, apply the policy. I'll apply the policy later. Create group. Group is created. Users, there is no users. So what you have to do, go into the group, click on first permission, add the policy, and as I said, EC2 read only policy. I'll apply this policy to the this group directly and add the user into the group. Click on add the user, click on mic, and then add the users. Okay, So I added the user into the group. And now what I can do, I can go into the user, and user is a part of group read admin. So I'll go into the users and I remove the individual policy what I applied directly to the users. So what I have to do, you have to detach it. I detached it. Okay. And now you can see there is another policy, but still it is showing an AWS managed policy from group read admin. It's not directly applied. It's from group read admin. Okay. So if I go back again and see, so now the policy is coming from the group. You can see it does not have any problem. Okay, so there is two way. Either you apply the policy directly to the users or apply policy directly from the group. Okay, so guys, that's all for today, but it's not like a finish. The topic is not finished because there are few more topics still I have, which I'll talk next time. Like I'll create another video for you and upload it. Okay, so guys, thanks for watching, and please subscribe and share with your friend, and also comment into the comment box. Thanks guys, thanks once again.